Hey, this is Amy with Flower Moxie, and this video is about how our Moodboard collections work, and I'm so excited about this new feature on our site. So first of all, I want to explain the difference between our signature collections and our Moodboard collections. So let's bounce over to the Pastoral White signature collection. And the similarity is that just like in the signature collections, we build pre-made packages, we do the same for you in the Moodboard collections, and that's to take the guesswork out of it. The difference is that we build these in the studio and take a picture of it. And why that makes a difference is because you only see one image. You see the way I built this bouquet on this particular day with these particular set of flowers. And any florist can tell you, you put a handful of florists in a room and give them all the same flowers, they can create such different images. And that's why the Moodboard collections are so important, is it's a bit more conceptual because it links back to Pinterest. And the reason why that's important is that way you can see the same flowers made by different artists. So it doesn't lock you into this particular way that I made this bouquet on this day. Okay, so let's go back to the Moodboard collections. This is the landing page, and we have little thumbnails that have the color description below, and it ranges from light to dark. And let's jump into the bright and cheerful. This is one of my favorites right now. So a mood board or a design board is something that I create for my clients when I'm their florist. And it looks very similar to this. It's a collage of pictures, and I usually have a color palette range. And that's to visually convey to my client, okay, I understand your style, I understand your color palette, I understand the vibe that we're going for. But one thing that it isn't saying, hey, I'm going to copy all of these, arrangements. This is for inspiration, just like we all have Pinterest inspiration boards. And as a side note, some of these are our photos, but any of the photos that aren't, we have been granted permission by the photographer, and the credits are at the bottom of the page. So if you're a new florist getting started and you're creating mood boards and putting them up, that's fantastic. Just ask those folks if you can have permission to use it and credit them. Okay, so on each page, the format is the same. You're going to have this design board. You will have a link to the Pinterest board, which we're going to look at. You have a printable recipe. And so I'll jump over there really fast so you can see it. So if you decide to go with this package, you can print this off and hand it out to the folks helping you. That way your Aunt Blanche doesn't get all crazy and use too many flowers in the centerpiece. We have these pre-made packages that I was talking about, small, medium, and large. And the smalls include the bouquets, boutonnieres, corsages, and then it builds up from there. And then also on the page, we have the flowers that we used in the package and then flowers that just work with the vibe. And so that way you don't have to dig around through the website to find the flowers that would look bright and cheerful. We've done that for you. And let's go to that Pinterest board. So here's the bright and cheerful Pinterest board. And I know that I don't need to tell you how Pinterest works, but why it's so important with flowers is, like I said before, you see the same flowers used and built in different ways by different artists. You see different editing styles by photographers, and that's why it's so fantastic. So if, let's say you like things more rounded and symmetrical, you can see the visual representations of those just as you can see a bouquet like this one that's built in a more whimsical, organic, asymmetrical style. And it's just really great for inspiration and to see, oh, that's how thistle looks in a bouquet, or that's what a free spirit rose looks in a bouquet. And so if you're bright and cheerful, if that's your color palette, your Pinterest board is probably going to look very similar. And it's really good to pay attention to what shapes you like and try to identify the particular flowers that you're really keen on. But one thing that I do want to make a suggestion is don't lock yourself into one image to try to copy it. That's not really a thing when it comes to building flowers, just because each week is a different set of flowers. Your eye has a different view on composition. Your hands and the way you build the flowers will be a bit different. So don't you know, this image is absolutely beautiful and she did a fantastic job. But if you love this, use it as inspiration, but don't let it hijack your creativity. Let your own, you know, creativeness and flowers shine through. So try not to copy. And let's hop back. So after we've looked at that Pinterest board, we can scroll through and see those flowers identified. We saw a lot of bouquets with free spirits. We saw a lot of medium pink spray roses, a lot of orange ranunculus. And so that's really nice because it gives you a visual representation of what it actually looks like when it's in a bouquet, because that is a hard thing to visualize and think about if you don't do it every weekend and build flowers every weekend for a living. So let's go into the large package. So this is the large package. And again, every format is the exact same in each color palette. So at the very beginning, we're going to tell you everything that you can make and an approximate breakdown of costs. That way you know what each piece is costing. And on the centerpiece options for the medium and large, basically this is a mix or match. If you want to make 10 centerpieces using a 5 to 6 inch vase, then you absolutely can. But let's say you have 20 tables and you want to use a 3-inch vase, something that's around the mason jar size, you can go that route too. But the amount of flowers you get are the same. So this is the breakdown of everything that you get. It's the actual stem count. And below it is the recipe. And again, you can find that in the same thing in the printable, but that shows you where your flowers go. And we also put a nice collage of all the pictures. That way you can kind of see them all together on one page and they're labeled so you don't have to look them up. And one thing to note is although you can't swap anything out in our packages, those are set, you can use it as a guide to build your own. So maybe this package is, you know, almost you, but let's say you want yellow ranunculus and you want shimmer roses instead of free spirits. Just use this as a guide and build your own cart. As long as these numbers and stem counts are the same, the recipe will stay the same. So let us know what you think in the comments below, and let us know if you don't see your color palette represented. If you have some ideas, we love hearing ideas and new color palettes that are coming about, so we're totally open for suggestions. Thank you so much.